Welcome into the A-10 Insider Podcast. I'm Jeff Goodman, and we got a great episode for you today. Richmond senior Tyler Burton will join us, second in the league in scoring and fifth in rebound, and having a great year for the Spiders. He'll talk a little bit about what it was like to hear the news when Chris Mooney told them that he was going to step away for the rest of the season after having upcoming heart surgery. Burton will also talk about his progression, completely different team coming in, what that's been like. Can't believe we're getting down to the end of the season right now. We got VCU right now in the lead by a game over Dayton. VCU 12-3. They got 3 games left. Richmond at home, St. Louis at GW. Dayton healthy now. We'll see what the Flyers can do. They've won 6 of the last 7. Their slating includes George Mason, LaSalle at home, and then they finish at St. Louis. So it looks like a 2-team race there for the A-10 title. And then we will go to the A-10 tourney at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, starting March 7th. First round action, you got the 12-13, the 10-15, the 11-14 game. Then Wednesday, second round. Thursday, the quarterfinals where the top 4 seeds play. Friday semis and Sunday's title game at 1 o'clock on CBS. Should be great because, honestly, kind of wide open this year. You know, we thought it was going to be Dayton, and St. Louis. And, again, the Flyers just haven't been 100%, but they're starting to get it going. And the Billikens just haven't done what we thought they would do this year with, again, pretty much everything coming back. All right, let's get to it. Richmond star Tyler Burton, a fellow Massachusetts native, joins me now on the A-10 Insider Pod. All right, now welcome in a guy I've been wanting to have on the A-10 Pod all season long. As I say, a fellow Masshole. Tyler Burton from Richmond. You're much nicer than me. I can't even refer to you as a Masshole. You're way too nice a kid.
I don't think I fit that description, you know. I don't have the accent or anything. I don't think I fit that.
But we have that reputation. No matter what,
Sure.
People that aren't from Massachusetts, they automatically think kind of Masshole. And you know, for you probably fit better down in Richmond with all the good people down there. And you're a little more chill too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd like to keep it on the more low-key side, just hanging out with my friends and just kind of do my own thing.
So for people that don't know, you grew up kind of, is this accurate? Can I say in the sticks in Massachusetts a little bit?
Yeah, that's actually like the perfect description for it.
Describe to people where it is.
The people are normal, you know, like they're the same type of people you would find in the city or just in any regular town. It's just, you know, when I go out my front door, there's woods and a train track, and I go out my back door and there's a big old field and a basketball hoop. So I guess you could call it the sticks.
How big is the town?
I think like 20,000 people, 25,000 people. I don't think it's too big.
It's small. I grew up in Framingham, Mass, which is
much bigger.
Polar opposite.
A city now. A city.
Yeah. It's late. I mean, malls, movie theaters, arcades. We had everything. But all right, let's get to first. Let's start with kind of your decision to come back this year, because all your boys were leaving. Everybody. The run you had last year was so cool in the A-10 tournament. We'll get back to that a little bit. But, you know, and I see you guys beat Iowa in the NCAA tournament. One of the coolest things for me, because I know what Chris Mooney had been through. I know kind of what you guys have been through a little bit. It had been a rough deal with a lot of expectations the year before. Obviously, the tournament being canceled the year before that with some expectations. But all your boys leave. 4 starters, everybody goes, and you go through the draft process and then decide I'm coming back. Take me through that a little bit and how difficult it was.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, like all my boys were leaving, and you know, that was a tough pill to swallow. I remember when I had left school, I had given each of them a call and just thanked them for everything, and there was a lot of tears, a lot of emotion going into that. But then you know, I'm a big challenge guy. I love a good challenge, and like knowing those guys weren't going to be here. And it looked like a cool opportunity of just being able to kind of do my own thing for a year and just see where that takes me and see what type of challenge that could be and what that could make of me. And I'm loving it so far. You know, there's been a lot of ups and downs to the season. That's just college basketball in general. but we've had a lot of ups and downs, and the emotions and everything that you go through, they were kind of negated with all these older guys last year. And now it's kind of all falling on my shoulders from a leadership perspective. And I love it, honestly. Like the hard days are hard and the good days are great. But it's just a great challenge to just come back. And that's what I really wanted to do, is just test myself and see what I was made of.
I feel like you needed it a
Yeah.
little bit. Like everybody kind of said, like, all right, you're kind of passive to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you had some older dudes with you. So it's harder because those are veterans,
Exactly.
even more than you were last year. But, I feel like you needed this probably from a vocal standpoint and a leadership standpoint. And I can already see it talking to you now. Like it developed you, didn't it, this year?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like there's no hiding from it. It's like, especially now, Coach Mooney's gone. Like there's no hiding from that leadership role. Guys need you to step up with your voice. Guys need you to step up with your actions, lead by example, and you can't hide from it. You got to come in. You got to bring it every single day. Thank God I have the coaching staff that we have and the guys that we have around us. And that's kudos to Coach Mooney and who he brings around the program, which make it much easier for me to do that. But that was the big challenge. Is just it's always easy to do it sometimes. You can always come in and do it on Monday and Wednesday, and then next week do it on Monday and Tuesday. But like every single day is where it gets really hard to do. And I'm so grateful for who I have around me to just hold me to that standard every day.
What's this season been like? Because again, you brought in some new dudes. You're playing some guys that didn't play last year, redshirt freshman last year. It was, a completely new team for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Like, how hard has that been for you? You're trying to figure out your role as being the go-to guy, and then you got a bunch of young guys that are all trying to figure things out in a new spot.
I would just say it's unique, So my 3 years here, I think 3 guys left,
Yeah.
This is my first time with the whole new look, let alone my senior year. But this is the first time I've ever been with the team with the whole new look. Like there's a lot of teams around the country that graduate 6, 7 a year.
Yep.
Or they hit the transfer portal hard. And here, we hit it pretty hard. We got a few transfers in, but this is the first time I've had like a new group of guys around me where I walk in the locker room and I don't know every single person top to bottom. I don't know everything that's personal about them. So it was really cool to just kind of navigate those waters and just create those new bonds that you forget that you're making when you have the same guys around you for the next year. Like last year, it was like, oh yeah, the guys are coming back. It'll be the same thing. Right. This year, it's like, we don't even know what kind of guys we got coming in here. We don't even know what they're like. So it was really cool to just navigate that and just get to meet new people in that sense, the brotherhood that you create on the court, and then it just translates off the court. And it's so cool to be able to do that with a whole new group of guys.
How many NBA teams? You remember how many you worked out for last year?
Yeah, I think it was 10 teams I worked out for this summer.
What was the biggest thing you took from them and what they told you after those workouts?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is you got to believe in yourself before anybody else can.
So it was confidence more than anything.
For sure. Yeah. And not even just confidence in the ability to do it, but just confidence that you belong there. Yeah. The NBA it's a small league, 420 guys, I believe, or something like that. You got to believe you can be out there. They're not just going to put anybody out there. They're not going to believe it for you. You got to believe that you belong.
So have you believed?
Absolutely.
Like a year ago when you went through it, were you fully bought in that I'm ready for the NBA? And has that changed at all?
Yeah. So what I would say is earlier in that process, my first few workouts, I was testing the waters. Yep. I was seeing what it was like. Yep. I was seeing, okay, how good are these guys? Then I would say my last 3 or 4 workouts, I was really just working out. I was working out for trying to get a contract. I wasn't out there testing to see. I knew I could be there. I knew I was just as good as all of them. And it was just a matter of, can I put the ball in the basket and can I sit down on defense with the guy in front of me? And that's how that process went for me. It was just a learning process of testing.
Was it a moment
where I was.
Was there something specific like that happened at one of the workouts, or something somebody told you that all of a sudden was like, you know what, shit, or going up against somebody in a workout? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was kind of a bunch of it. Like some from just the workout, just working out on the daily basis at that level. It's a completely different level that you're working out on, and you're working on different things. The court is more spacing, the 3-point line's pushed back a little bit further, just little things like that. But then when you go into some of these workouts and they're like, yeah, you got this guy, he's projected lottery, he's projected
Yeah.
20th pick, and you're going toe to toe with him, and you might have beat him in a game on one-on-one, and you might have locked him down in your game of one-on-one, or you're playing 2-on-2 and you just cook the team with two guys that are projected first rounders. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it's like, yeah, I can do this.
What's on the court other than the confidence and the swagger and knowing?
Absolutely.
What else did they say about your game that you needed to work on the most before you get there?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just being more or less passive, I would say. So being less passive, being able to put the ball in the basket in any different way.
And you've done that this year.
Yeah, for sure. And then consistently knocking down the three, which I haven't done too well this year. And then
well, you're the guy now. It is different. It's different when you're taking uncontested threes, as opposed to now everybody knows you're the guy. You're not getting easy looks. Like, you got some of those early on in your career. You're not seeing those anymore, right?
Yeah, and it's like, as of late, I mean, I hit a major slump the past few games, and guys start going under these ball screens, and they start going under dribble handoffs, and they're like daring you to shoot. And like those dare shots, especially early on when you know that you're kind of in a slump and the ball's not going in, and they're making you take these dare shots, and you start thinking like, damn, can I not shoot?
Right.
But then you just got to see one go through, and you're right back to where you were.
Yeah, it's confidence is so much. I mean,
Absolutely.
so much. You see,
and that's what I mean, and that's what I say. Confidence is one hell of a drug. If you believe it, and you act like you belong, you can string along. You can string along a whole series of scores or stops, and you do belong. You end up belonging. That's the biggest thing I've learned.
I just wrote that quote down. Confidence is one hell of a drug. No, it's actually a great quote. I'm going to start using it. It's true. I mean, that is. Listen, there's I don't know, 50 players in the NBA that are at a different level than everybody else, talent-wise. And then the other 350, 375, whatever it is, all about the same.
Yeah.
Confidence is everything. Fit is everything, obviously. I think certainly there's a place for you in the NBA. All right, let's get to the big news that happened last week with your coach, Chris Mooney, that, man, it shocked all of us. It shocked me, and it scared me right away, because you're not going to find a bigger fan of Chris Mooney than me. You're not. You're not. Like, that dude, first of all, I love him because you can talk to him about anything.
Absolutely.
Anything. People don't realize anything. Now, again, the fact that he's a Philly fan, I'm sure you're not a huge fan of that with him. That he likes all.
We actually don't bicker too much about that. So that's good.
Good. So the news comes out that he's stepping away last week for the rest of the season because he's having heart surgery. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it hit me. How did you find out, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, so we had a team meeting. I forget what day it was, but we had a team meeting, and we walked in the locker room, and the chairs were in a circle, which is odd. Usually we just sit in like a little classroom like environment, just like I'm in right now, chairs behind and whatnot. But we're sitting in a big circle, and Coach Mooney comes in. It's pretty quiet, and then he starts talking, and then it progressively gets more serious. So then he told us he was stepping away. He was having heart surgery. So then for me, I'm like, oh no. Then he starts to realize like the silver lining in it, like this is real life. As much as basketball is so important to us, that's real life. That's where life takes control. And they caught it early, thank God. So he can just have his surgery, which is it's already a scary procedure. Like that's stuff like that is already scary, but you can rely on modern medicine and just hope and pray that he makes it through great, and he'll be fine after that. He's a healthy young guy.
Yep.
And like they caught it early, and you can't really ask for more in that sense. And then actually we had left the locker room, and I mean the story broke like that. I think you might have tweeted it actually. Yeah. And I leave the locker room, and I haven't even processed this, and I have like 20 text messages on my phone. Hey, what's going on with Coach Mooney? And I didn't even know what to say to the people around, because I hadn't even really processed it yet.
Was it emotional? Do you remember like Mooney kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve a lot of ways? I mean, he tells it the way it is. There's no BS with Chris. What was he like through that? Did he get emotional?
Yeah, absolutely. He got very emotional, but that was that was also what clicked for me was like, you forget so frequently, especially in the game of basketball, where you're preaching toughness and just trying, like, just grit, and you forget that when you're going through all this like toughness and adversity, your emotions are all up and down. I mean, as much as you want to stay right here, it's just not how it goes. You might be really happy one time, you might be really upset another time. And you forget that this group of guys around you is who sees you like that all the time. They see you when you're up high. They see you when you're down low. They see you when you're embarrassed. And you forget that. And then you realize, like, once Coach Mooney literally put his heart out there for us and like got very emotional, you're like, you remember right then and there, like, yeah, like he'd be feeling the same way for me as I am for him right here. I mean, we're all so bought in and so close and connected, especially me being here for 4 years with him.
Yep.
Just, yeah, super emotional.
Different. Yeah, it's different for you. You were recruited, again, small town kid from Massachusetts. You go, you go all the way out there, and he takes you from, let's face it, from like a kid to a man now, right?
Yeah, literally. I'd never lived by myself. I came out here, started living on my own, and just thanks to Coach Mooney, shaped me as a great man and pretty good basketball player as well. So
pretty good. Understating that one. Pretty good, yes, no doubt. The hope is that he'll get back for next season, right? Like
absolutely.
He'll be back hopefully, a month or so after the surgery, back around the team a little bit, but fully intends to get back and coach, which is great news. All right, onto the team a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are 500, kind of 500 overall, 500 in league play. With losing all these dudes, you hit it last year in the A-10 tournament. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can do it again, but what has to happen for you guys to make a little bit of a run here? Because let's face it, the league is way more wide open at the top than anybody thought it would be. VCU's been good. Dayton's been up and down. They've dealt with injuries. St. Louis has been, a little disappointing as to what people thought they'd be. It probably gives all you guys a little bit more hope that maybe you can break through in the tourney.
Yeah, I think it comes down to just how well we can play our game. I think oftentimes we've gotten in a lot of trouble trying to play other teams' games. So a lot of times we try to limit transition. A lot of our tough games have been just straight run and gun, fast break games. And, that's how we get in trouble because that's not our game. So I think especially at this time, it's most crucial to make sure you're playing your game the right way at the highest level. And I think that's what is intriguing for us, because if we do play our way, I believe we're better than any team in the conference. And as you said, the A-10's wide open at the top. Yep. So all you have to do is just get hot by playing your game in the tournament, and you string together a couple wins like we did last year, and you go to March Madness. As simple as that may sound, it's wide open for us to take, and it all comes down to how we buy in together as a group.
What's been the most adversity you've dealt with since you've been at Richmond? What's been kind of the toughest thing for you to overcome?
I would say probably the 4-game losing streak we took a couple weeks back. That was a tough one just because, late in the season, you start to feel like you're progressing, and then all of a sudden you're going to just be at that level that you want to play in when March comes around. And going on a 4-game losing streak is kind of pulling you right back from like thinking, yeah, we're right where we need to be, to like, we're not even close. And I'd say that was really hard because we are a group of young guys. And we haven't not everyone's known each other for that long. And I think that was really hard to deal with. Just from us, we had a couple team meetings about it, and just trying to really just hash out anything that we needed to air out, whether we were disagreeing on something or whether we just weren't playing hard, whether we needed to snap out of the funk, whatever it was, And I think that was the hardest part, was just trying to navigate that and just trying to figure out what is wrong. And then we assessed and we applied what we wanted to apply to the season. We're calling it the new season, and we've been moving forward since then.
So you have a COVID year if you want to take it, right?
I do.
What? Go ahead. I'll put you in the spot here. Right. Any chance or no? Or are you done?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I've talked to Coach Mooney about it. I've talked to my parents about it a little bit, but it's just not the time to decide that right now.
Finish the season. Then kind of assess everything and kind of figure out where the NBA guys think you're at too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of whatever works out better for me. I think that's the biggest thing. Oftentimes people get caught in like yeah, I want to go to the NBA, or yeah, I want to go being a Division I player in college. You just got to do what fits you. You just got to do
Did
what
you
suits
ever
you
think,
at the end of the day.
like, when was that moment? Did you play for a small AAU team here?
Yeah, so I played for BABC
You did.
when I was in 8th grade and 9th grade, I believe.
Okay.
And then we kind of agreed it'd be better for me to be on a different team.
Yep.
So then I ended up going to play for just like a smaller program called Masshole.
Yeah, I know.
And then
Messi.
that's kind of
Sure.
where I got on my feet,
Yep.
gained my own confidence, became my own player.
Yep. There you go.
Oh,
You
can you
unfroze.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
My
You
bad.
froze for
I don't know
about
where I
5
cut off.
seconds. You were
Uh,
saying
where, where,
you were saying, you became kind of your own player at Mass Elite.
yeah, and then I joined the Mass Rivals late and just kind of did my role there, learned how to be a role guy there, and then I think that really helped me in college. I think that's really what helped me develop in college early on as a freshman, sophomore, just being able to understand and take on a role.
To me, this is really cool for me to see you in this element, because again, like early years, you could not have done this interview this way. Like, you would not have been this way. You just exude so much more confidence, and you're so much more comfortable. That to me is the coolest part of this. Like, honestly,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sitting here this whole interview and I'm like, I could talk to you all day. Like you've always been smart enough, but you haven't had that confidence. Sometimes you're quiet. I know, like,
yeah.
I can only imagine what you were like as a freshman getting on campus, how quiet you probably were.
Yeah, it was like it was funny because the group of guys we got that are freshmen. I mean, they came in first day loud, yelling, "Yo,
Really?
what's up, everybody?" And I remember my freshman year, I didn't speak unless someone spoke to me. so so
Yeah.
I was just in my locker room was right next to Jacob Gilliard's too. He's the loudest one in the locker room. I'm sitting there next to him, silent, and then if he tapped me, said something, I answer, and that was it. I wasn't walking in the locker room saying, "Hey, what's up, everybody?" None of that. So it was funny that our freshman did that.
It's got to be cool for you, though, to see again every year. You've had a bigger role, a little bit bigger role on the court, and now again averaging 19 a game, showing you could be that go-to guy. And not only that, but again, kind of a leader with your words, which again you probably never thought that was going to happen. So
Yeah.
that's got to be the coolest part of, again, getting through year 4 here, as much as anything. So, all right, give me your, other than you guys, if I'm saying you can't pick yourselves, who wins the A-10 tournament?
I can't answer that.
You got to. No. You're not taking the easy way out here. We're getting a pick from you. Come on. Who do you
Okay.
like?
I'll give it to Dayton if they're healthy. Dayton when they're healthy, I think is a really good team.
They got everything if they're
They
healthy,
do.
don't they?
They do.
Just about everything. And Holmes is terrific, isn't he?
Yeah, really good. Ray off the bench.
Yeah.
Sharif Joms off the bench.
Yeah.
I think I'm a big Malachi Smith fan. I mean, he's just a really good point guard. I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded.
They are loaded. They just haven't been healthy really all year.
Yeah.
And, that's, as health is kind of everything. You guys were without Nick, a couple of years ago, and it hurt you. You need to have all your pieces in place, and hopefully
and you gotta have them comfortable and ready to go too.
Right.
I think. I mean, it's one thing to be back, but it's one thing to be in peak season form.
Exactly. All right. Well, listen, great catching up. I mean that. I was waiting for this all year, so I'm glad we could do this. Hopefully, when you get back home in the off season, we can catch up in person. And best of luck down the stretch. Try to make some magic again in the A-10 tournament. All right.
I will. Yes, sir.
All right. Richmond star Tyler Burton joining us here on the A-10 Insider Podcast. Thanks, Tyler.
Appreciate it.